I'm just annoyed by the whole private property thing.
Join us for the ride of a lifetime.
Let's watch an idiot try to ride a motorcycle. Some guy rides.
Okay, so look at this section. Get off. So I'm right here. All of this, like, that's all you can go. You can't go further. So we're gonna go check that out right now. So I don't get confused, I'm just going to take every left. There's all these out and backs. And I'm sure it's going to be just boring roads to the end of a cove, but that's what we're doing today. Damn, what grade is this? Oh. Whoa. All right. All right. Should be a left up here. Oh no. Oh, there's a wire up there anyway. Some sort of gate. Huh. Well, let's just go see what the gate says. Right. I think I've hit my quota though on this type of thing. It doesn't say anything. Not really locked, but I'm not unlocking it. Maybe if I was with someone who could take up some of the target range, if somebody's shooting at us, they could take some of the brunt of that. But as you know, that's where you get in trouble. Those little turnarounds. Felt like I was going down. For real. I bet that's an interesting road though. It doesn't go anywhere, but at least on the map it says it doesn't go anywhere. Okay. That's private. Forest ranger. Really? What forest are we in? Pisgah? Huh. Old bus. This is just a weird part of town. Oh, jeez. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna go down a little bit. But if it gets sketch, I'm just gonna turn around. Okay? We're just investigating. Dudes, I am scoring on the discoveries today, though. It's definitely good to just put aside the out and back policy now and then and be okay with it. It just is. It's not really good if you're on a trip and you've like, because then you're getting the mode where you're like, I gotta get where I'm going. And this isn't getting me anywhere because it's an out and back. So it just doesn't feel right. But I know people do this all the time. They take their trailers, they park, and they do what I'm doing right now. They just go explore and then they go back to where they started. That's valid. I don't know why I've always thought I'm not into that. I'd actually prefer to have a place to go, like a journey, but home base and exploration, that's not bad either. Like we did at Del Rio. Not bad at all. I feel like I need a street legal dirt bike though. Like but there's nothing short enough for me. Maybe the XT, but I think it's too tall. If I was rich with a garage, I'd have an XT. I'd have a Monkey. I'd have a V85. If I was really rich, I'd probably just have a Harley to have a Harley. I'd have a Goldwing already, even though I'm shopping for a Goldwing as we speak. Oh, the Tacoma. I found one that was perfect. Salvage rebuilt title, which is my thing. Was on the highway going to get it. Well, I was going to take it to a place and get it checked out, and then I was going to buy it if it was fine, which it was going to be. And got a call 30 minutes in. It just sold. Oh, I've been searching forever. Oh, we should just all move right there. So this is where my Disney Forest Ranger pass, I would swipe it, the gate would open, I would go through. I'd pay good money for that pass. Seriously, U.S. Forestry Service. It's a way to make money. You'd make so much money. I'm serious. I would pay, I don't know what I would pay. I'd pay whatever they asked, probably. I'd pay $2,000 a year, no problem. Maybe not. I am a cheap bastard. But I might. If you could go to any gate and swipe it and it would open, and you wouldn't get in trouble. Like you have a barcode tattooed on your wrist that any passing forest ranger can scan. I don't know, $2,000, I might do it. How about this? It's $2,000 a year, or it's $4,000 for a lifetime membership. I would save up and pay the $4,000. That's a risk because you don't know how long you're going to live, so you don't know if you're going to get your money's worth. If you only live a year, you're getting ripped off. But you know. You don't want to bet on yourself dying, so I mean, that was a pleasant little, I mean, come on. I'm just out in the woods by myself with no one else. What's better than that? What is better than that? Oh, I just, me and my old drummer. That's not how you say it. Me and the guy that used to play drums in my band. He wasn't my drummer. I didn't own him. That's something a lead singer would say, though. Anyway, we've been friends forever. We were in a band. When was our first band? Our first band was called Root Cellar. That might have even been the end of the 80s. It might have been like 89 or something, maybe something like that. Anyway, it was like this hippie acoustic band where Dan, who I've talked about before, he was the violin player. And I was the singer, songwriter, guitarist, and Tony played drums. Anyway, we did that for a few years. Then we started Treadmill Trackstar, which is the band that got signed to Atlantic. And we were together, what? God, 7 years or something? Something like that. Pretty much toured for 7 years. Mm-hmm. And anyway, we've been friends a long time. We've had our ups and downs. I mean, when you're in a band with someone for so long, shit's gonna go down. I remember there was a time in Tallahassee, and I might have talked about this before, but he set up, and I'm like, hey man, could you set up just back a little bit so I can have some room? Okay, now that's the tone I'm using now because I'm trying to paint it like I'm the good guy and he's the bad guy, but probably it was more like, dude, fucking move your shit back, asshole. That's probably more accurate, let's be honest. But anyway, we almost got in a fist fight over that one. It just, everything had built up. You know, we were poor, we're sleeping on pool tables and people's couches and floors, and we're dirty and not making any money, eating terrible food, drinking way too much. And, you know, we'd be on the road, I don't know, we would go out for like 3 months at a time. Anyway, we're still in touch. And, wait, private, that's where I wanted to go. I can't go down there? Can I go down here? Anyway, we text all the time. And the record we did, that was the major label record. It didn't come out the way we wanted. Honestly, all the parts sound really good, except for the drums. The drums are a freaking disaster. How is there a church back here? And why does this look familiar? I think it's because I've seen a million churches like that out in the middle of nowhere. I can't tell a story straight. I can't just tell it. It's constant interruptions. Well, what was I talking about? Tony, what about him? Oh, the record. So for whatever reason, it wasn't his playing, although he did have a piccolo snare that I freaking hated. Oh God, I hated that thing. A piccolo snare is like, it's small, it's kind of like thin, and it's tuned really high, so it's like, it's got this annoying snare sound that I just despised. I like a deep wooden snare sound. Anyway, oh, I hated that thing. And he just recently, a couple years ago, bought a very expensive, what is it called? Black oyster? What are those called? I think it's pearl. Anyway, it's a very nice, beautiful, wooden, deep snare drum that I love. Is it black oyster? I can't remember. I don't know. Future Ange will figure it out. Anyway, the drums on the record were not good. We tried everything. We recorded in Memphis at the same studio that Big Star recorded at, and the same studio that The Replacements recorded at, with Joe Hardy as our producer. And he did he did a ton of stuff, but his most famous were like the early ZZ Top records. Anyway, classic studio. It's got a lot of history, and we had a good time. But anyway, we were finished, and we didn't like the drums. And Joe Hardy, before we finished, Joe Hardy was getting pissed at us because we kept complaining and saying it sounded like shit. And he got really offended. And so anyway, the drums sounded like shit. Then we sent him off to a guy at the time. What was that band? Matchbox 20 was huge at the time. They sucked, but they were huge. And we sent it to their producer to remix. It didn't really sound any better. And we were just kind of stuck with it. Like, there was nothing we could do. I mean, I guess what we should have done is this a road? We should have redone the drums. We should have re-recorded the whole thing. I mean, just the drums, and fixed it. But we didn't do that, and so now we have this weird drum sound. I don't know, most people wouldn't probably realize it, but now that I've told you about it, if you go listen to that record, which was called Only This by Treadmill Trackstar, it's on Spotify, I think, you'll know what I'm talking about. It just doesn't sound good. We wanted big, huge, massive rock and roll drums, and this sounds like a cocktail kit. So anyway, ever since then, well, I mean, a couple years after that album came out, we broke up because we got dropped, and nothing ever, I mean, we had some level of success, but we didn't hit, you know? We didn't get big. You haven't heard of us. Let's put it that way. So we broke up. Anyway, a couple years later, Tony's like, I gotta find those master tapes and re-record the drums. And so for, I don't know, the past 15 or 20 years, he's been on this wild goose chase trying to track down our old manager, calling the studio, calling our A&R guy, calling the old management company, everybody he can think of, to try to find these tapes. Now, I am surprised that I don't have those tapes, because I'm a bit anal about that kind of stuff. I wonder if he called the lawyer. Anyway, we have no idea where those master tapes are. I don't think Joe had them. I think he asked Joe. The studio didn't have them. I don't know where they are. They're gone. They're somewhere probably, but who knows where. And anyway, he's just obsessed with it. He's been obsessed with it for a really long time. He wants to redo the drums. I think if he had it his way, we'd re-record the whole record. It's just a thorn in his side. You know what I mean? It's just annoying to him, and it's going to continue to be annoying. Gated private road, no turnaround. Whoa, what the fuck? What do you want me to do? Not turn around? If it's gated, where's the gate? I'm just annoyed by the whole private property thing. I don't know if you can tell that. I'll change my tune someday when I'm living out here in some kick-ass cool place that I don't want people coming to. That'll happen. Except for I'll never have a cool place. I'm gonna fall. This is where I'm gonna fall. I've already fallen twice today. Anyway, So, the new Beatles song came out a while ago, and you know, they used that Peter Jackson style AI to separate John's vocals from his piano playing, and so they could relayer it and do all that stuff. And you know, that stuff is becoming more and more available. And he ran one of our songs through an AI to get rid of the drums. You know, with the idea would be that he re-records drums. But it sounded terrible, because I think that I really don't know how that stuff works, but I can only imagine that what it does is it figures out which frequencies the drums are using and removes them. And because the drums share frequencies with the bass guitar and probably the lower end of the guitar and probably some of vocals, and the cymbals share frequencies probably with the upper end things like the high end of the guitar, when you take out those frequencies, it's going to mess with the other instruments too. And it does. It doesn't sound right at all. It doesn't sound good. But someday it will. And then maybe he can re-record the drums, and that will be something that he can check off his list. That's been on his list for quite a long time. For me, I just don't listen to that record. I don't know. And it doesn't bother me as much because it's, you know, it's not me. That sounds terrible. I sound terrible just normally, but anyway, that's that. And him and I have been talking about doing a podcast for a long time about the history of our band, which, to be honest, I think could be interesting. Not because our band was good or anything, but we I don't know, I guess any band, there are some interesting things that happen, some extremely entertaining things that happen, some extremely funny things that happen, some, you know, I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot. And we did things that, and no one will believe this, and I don't care. But it's my belief that my band invented the blog. I'm serious. I did a road journal. There were no blogs. Nobody had heard of a blog. There was no such thing. It was not easy to get things onto the internet. But I don't know if you remember this, but AOL had something called iWeb, and it was like this rudimentary, you could add a page somehow to your AOL account, and other people could access it. I don't remember exactly how it worked, but I kept a road journal when we toured, and all the crazy stories were in there, everything that happened, and I would put it on that page. Then when we got management or whatever, they helped me. Like, I would email them the road journal, and by that time we kind of had a website, like a very rudimentary website. I mean, this was early days, dudes, on the internet, early days. And so we had a road journal on our website after that. And I can find out what year we started that, but I swear to God, there was no blog then. Maybe there was something similar, maybe somebody was doing the same thing, I don't know. But I still say we invented the blog. And we invented something else in the year 2006. This was after we broke up in 98, I think. And then I moved to Los Angeles to try to make some goddamn money. And because I was so sick of being poor. And I was there till 2006. So in 2006 I moved back to North Carolina, and through a series of freakish events, someone invited us to play a charity show, and we decided to get back together and do it. And then that turned into, it was so fun, because there's a difference between playing music as a job and playing music for fun. Playing music as a job is not as fun as playing music just for fun. I think that is probably obvious, but it's really true. It's a lot more fun when you don't have to worry about it too much. And so anyway, after that show, I wrote a ton of songs, and we recorded a record. Well, I wrote a bunch of songs, and we talked about recording a record, but we're like, where are we going to get the money? At this time, 2006, it was still, you still kind of had to use a studio. I mean, I had Pro Tools, I think, at the time, and so I could do a lot of my stuff on my own, but drums, I don't know, we needed studio time, we needed to have it mixed, and we needed to have it mastered, which takes money. It's a lot cheaper now. I mean, now I can do everything and then bring it to get mastered. I wouldn't even need to do that if I didn't want to, but I love the guy who mixes, and I love the guy who masters. So I always pay for that. Anyway, at the time, we needed a bunch of money. And this girl that we were working with, she was kind of acting as our booking agent / manager. We did a bunch of shows after we got back together, and I'm gonna give her credit with this. I'm not exactly sure, but she was like, why don't you guys do like an NPR style fundraiser, you know, where you give out tote bags and try to get people to give you money to do the record. And we're like, that's a good idea. So we made a bunch of PayPal buttons on our website and offered goofy sort of prizes for whatever level you were able to donate at, and we made a bunch of money and made the record. And of course, that sounds just like Kickstarter, right? Well, Kickstarter didn't start for a couple years later. And I have looked into this, I have done research. I can only find one example, of anyone ever doing that before us. And the person who did it, her name is Jill Solube, and she did a fundraising campaign like that for a record in like 2005. Again, I know there's gotta be thousands of people who did the same thing, but I'm just saying. We were always early adopters. Always. And when I think about what we would have done had we been a band now, I mean, it would have just been hilarious. We would have had a full-on vlog on YouTube, a full-on written blog with tons and tons of pictures and goofiness, and it would have been spectacular. It wouldn't have mattered if the band was good, because that stuff would have been just fantastic. To be able to witness the way we lived, I'm just telling you, classic entertainment. But oh well. So it's all very nice back here, but I think this peters out and ends, and I have to go back pretty much the way I came. Which I'm not going to be pissed about. Oh, and when Kickstarter did come out, my wife was like, dude, instead of doing all that and making that record, you should have made Kickstarter. And she's right. I absolutely should have. Absolutely should have. Damn it. Of course, I don't remember her having that idea until Kickstarter came out. Oh, damn it. Hey, please like this video if you liked this video, and if you'd like to see more, hit that subscribe button and the alert bell. Also, if you're interested, there are links to gear lists and goofy t-shirts in the description. Thanks a ton for watching.